What is up, guys? It is your boy Kazak here, and today I am back again with another Dynasty Warriors video. I know it's been a long time. I know my Muso fans have been waiting quite a bit. I know you guys are probably wondering, like, where has the Muso videos gone? Why have you been doing more Muso videos? You know, it's just been a while. The only reason why I haven't been focusing nearly as much on Muso content is just because I've been focusing on other stuff. As you guys know, I've been getting into a lot of RPGs. I've been playing a lot of fighting games as well. So there's just been a lot of other things I wanted to cover and talk about before I really wanted to get back into some Muso related content. But here I am again, and today's topic we are going to be talking about Dynasty Warriors 10 and what I would like to see from this brand new entry. Even though we don't have any confirmations on when the next Warriors game is going to come out, especially when it comes to Dynasty Warriors, I still like to talk about it and kind of give you guys my own personal perspective on what I think would make Dynasty Warriors 10 possibly the best game in the entire franchise. So, with all that said, let's just jump into it and yeah, just get straight into it. So, one thing I want to say is that I want them to still keep Dynasty Warriors Origins' combat system. Now, that might be pretty obvious for some people, since, it's going to be pretty likely that Dynasty Warriors 10 will have this system in place or be used as the basis for Dynasty Warriors 10. But we know how Koei is. Usually, sometimes, whenever they have good ideas, they usually tend to just throw them out and never use it again, which is why I'm very adamant on this point that they need to keep the combat system from Dynasty Warriors Origins and simply just refine it a little bit. Expand it so that we each character can have their own unique move sets again. Make sure that the combat feels very smooth and fast paced, and there's a lot of crazy action going on and all that stuff. Then on top of that, I also want to make sure that the difficulty is there too, and that's something that I really appreciate about Dynasty Warriors Origins. Origins actually felt somewhat difficult to play. Now that might just be because of the fact that the game had a completely brand new combat system, so it took a little bit of time to actually learn and understand it. But even after that, there were still plenty of times in the game where it's like, whoa, some of these maps can get pretty challenging. So, especially with that Lu Bu fight, oh god, that Lu Bu fight was absolutely ridiculous. So, hopefully, when it comes to Dynasty Warriors 10, I want them to keep that same level of difficulty and challenge and that fun that you got from Origins, especially when it comes to that Lu Bu fight. Seriously, if Dynasty Warriors 10 doesn't recreate that fight or doesn't do a better job at it, then I don't know. I'm going to be very disappointed by that. But yeah, that's something I really want to see. Another thing that I want to talk about too is bring back playable characters. Now, this was a very common criticism and issue with Dynasty Warriors Origins, and a lot of people did not like the fact that we couldn't play as the other characters, or, we kind of could, but not really. It was only for like a couple of seconds kind of thing. Some people didn't like that. So for Dynasty Warriors 10, and again, I know this is very obvious since it is a mainline game, it's expected. But again, usually when games like this are pretty successful, sometimes these companies like to take drastic decisions and they will sometimes remove certain things that people actually really like. And I want to make it very clear, we want the playable characters back. We want to be able to pick our favorite people and be able to go onto the battle and beat the crap out of them just with our favorites. I don't want this thing where we get to stick with just one character and that's it. No, that's not what I want at all. And if anything, I do hope that Dynasty Warriors 10 does it so that like the character roster is pretty balanced. So for example, you got to have all the OG characters from Dynasty Warriors 3 to 5, and then add in some of the new favorites in there, like Lu Lang Chi. You could add in Zima Zhao in there. Add in a little bit of some of the new characters here and there. Don't overdo it, but bring back some of the more popular characters that people really like and enjoy from the later entries from, like, say, Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8, and even Dynasty Warriors 9. Yeah, despite the fact that 9 is a train wreck, there are some characters that I would like to see in there, like that one. Who was that one female chick from the Jin Kingdom? I don't know her name, I forgot, but she had a really cool moveset and a really cool character design too. I'll probably put it up on the screen, show off her design or whatever. But yeah, hopefully she comes back in Dynasty Warriors 10 because I think she was a pretty awesome looking character, but she was just placed in a really bad game. So yeah, when it comes to the roster, that is something that has always been integral to the Dynasty Warriors franchise, and it would be incredibly disappointing to see them ditch that. Granted, because this is a mainline game, the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. But again, you never know. Just like how with Dynasty Warriors Origins, they made us just stick to one character, and that was something that I personally was not a fan of. I think they should have just did it so that okay, you get to play as the main character, but you also get to play with your character too. I think they should have made it into like a tag team kind of system where like okay, here's your main character, and then you got Zhao Yun or Zhu Zhang Shang, and you can swap between them whatever you feel like it. Not just once you get your Muso meter up, then you can play as them. I do think that was not really a good choice. So let's just get rid of all that. Just give us the ability to play characters. That's all I'm saying. So when it comes to the story aspect, I think that the game should also include an additional Muso stories for the characters. I think one of the common issues I see with Dynasty Warriors, at least with the modern games, is the fact that characters don't really get a lot of development or they don't get fleshed out as much as that we would like. So I think a cool way to do this would be to give characters Muso stories. Now I'm not saying that every single character needs to have like a long, expansive story or whatever, or that they need like a separate campaign or anything of the sort. You know, we could keep that to certain characters like Lu Bu or whoever, like some of the more like iconic characters, let's just say, that have a lot of history. What I'm really saying is that at the very least, give these characters more screen time. Give them more moments, give them a little bit of story importance in the narrative. Give us something for these characters that isn't just them appearing in the background every once in a while or having a dialogue here or there, and that's pretty much it. No, let's actually make these characters feel like characters and give us reasons to truly love them as people. Another thing that I would actually like to see come back for the 10th entry is the Destiny mode from Dynasty Warriors 5. And it was basically this cool mode where you get to customize as your created character. You get to customize them, pick your different factions, and choose which characters you wanted to be, you wanted to serve for, and all that stuff. And it was just a really cool way to integrate yourself into the Dynasty Warriors world. And it's very similar to what Dynasty Warriors Origins is, except for the fact that this isn't like a create your own character type of adventure, but more of a story focused narrative that was primarily just based off of like the main first part of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms storyline. I think a lot of people were definitely expecting Dynasty Warriors Origins to kind of be like the create your adventure story type of game that we all kind of wanted in a way. But sadly, that's not how it turned out. And a lot of people were very, very disappointed. And it's easy to see why, especially when Origins did so much to. It did a lot of good, but I won't lie, some of the changes were just not. Were very odd. Let's just say that. Another thing that I would like to see come back is the duels. It was amazing to see Dynasty Warriors Origins bring it back and handle it extremely well. But I still always find it odd how this particular mechanic, despite being so beloved by the community and fans, was immediately removed right after Dynasty Warriors 4. You know, Dynasty Warriors 5 didn't have it. I don't know if 6 had it, but I don't think it did. Dynasty Warriors 7 didn't have it either, and then same thing with Dynasty Warriors 8. 9 definitely didn't have it. So for this game, why not bring it back? I think the only way to improve it is just to make it even more cinematic and flashier and make it a little bit more tense. Like make it so that you got to fight the enemy within a certain amount of turns or certain amount. I say turns as if this is a JRPG. No, I mean within a certain amount of time and all that stuff. I mean, I think there's cool ways to re-innovate the duel system in when it comes to Dynasty Warriors. So yeah, I think that would be something that I would definitely enjoy from the game as well. The last thing that I would want to see from Dynasty Warriors 10 is the hypotheticals. Dynasty Warriors 8 had a pretty lackluster story, but the one thing that it did extremely well was make the hypothetical scenes and moments really freaking cool. And it was so fun to go down the hypothetical routes and see all the different kind of changes that happens within the characters' stories. It makes you wonder like, okay, what if this certain event didn't happen and it went another way? And it was so cool to see that because we would end up getting different endings for our own kingdoms and see different stories, different character interactions. Even some of the battle conditions would actually change with certain characters and stuff depending on what you do in that route. And it was such a unique feature that I think could have easily been expanded upon if Dynasty Warriors 9 wasn't the mess that it was. It was such a cool feature. I think for Dynasty Warriors 10, they could bring back the hypotheticals and make it for each of the 3 or 4 factions, because there is Jin as well. So make it so that each faction has their own separate hypothetical routes, see what they can do, see the different type of character interactions that could come from that. Again, with a mode like this, or with a system like this, the possibilities that you can do when it comes to developing the characters or making certain characters more relevant can be very, very interesting. Now, I know some people would probably not like this because of the fact that it goes so far away from the original story, but I think it would be pretty cool, because considering the fact that Dynasty Warriors has a lot of, make-believe characters, or characters that are not portrayed in the most realistic ways, I think they should play on that a little bit and make these different type of scenarios, so that way, it makes us like the characters more and give us more of the awesome characters that we wanted. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool, in my opinion. I don't know how other people feel about the hypothetical routes. I thought it was a pretty dope idea that was made from Dynasty Warriors 8, and I definitely think it could be translated into the brand new game. So yeah, I think those would kind of be like my own personal recommendations for what I would like to see from Dynasty Warriors 10. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys agree with some of the things I said, or maybe you have some different ideas for how you want a Dynasty Warriors 10 to be handled? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. I also have some more Musou content coming pretty soon. In fact, one of the upcoming videos I have planned is going to be a samurai video, so that should be pretty exciting for you guys. And another one is going to be based off of Warriors Orochi as well. So listen, I still got some stuff going on, even though I've been focusing on like some JRPG stuff. Just note that I am cooking when it comes to the Musou content, all right? The Musou stuff is not going anywhere, so please stay in tune for that, all right? So, with all that said, this is your boy Kazak, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.